look, I try and be very straight with my audience. I don't play these games of faking objectivity. I tell people what I think at the outset, and that's why I'm going to let you start by telling me what am I getting wrong, and then I will let Noah Rothman respond.
Let's just take Columbia. I mean, I think your facts are wrong. You're saying these students are disrupting education and sort of getting in the way of people going to classes, and that's not true. I just want to quote first of all, there are 12 lawns. They've encamped on one. There are at least a dozen other lawns, so it's a very small part of campus.
Yeah, they just want to close one part. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Yeah, no, but what the chief of police of New York, John Chetty, said after the arrest of 100 of them, he said these students who were arrested were peaceful, offered no resistance whatsoever, and were saying what they wanted to say in a peaceful manner. These are not disruptive students. These are not people who are, at least in Columbia, they're not doing anything except expressing their views. Now, they might be breaking some rules, and so the university might be technically within its rights to arrest them, but that is playing into their hands. And if you want to strengthen student protests, that's the way to do it. First of all, it's an attack on free speech, and secondly, it's stupid. It's very counterproductive to bring in the cops to arrest your own students for peacefully protesting a very, an extremely protestable thing, which is this mass killing that's going on in Gaza.
Noah Rothman.
Well, if these protests are not disrupting life on campus, that speaks to, or rather the education that they're receiving, that speaks not to the quality of the protests, but the quality of the education they're receiving. I can't imagine how these events do not disrupt an educational experience, not just the protesters, but the faculty members who cascade into these spaces once the vanguard has established a breach in the security and allow them to articulate what is functionally the impetus for these protests, the power dynamics and the professional jealousies that the faculty themselves are prosecuting. Look, these demonstrators are exercising free speech in some way, but in others, they're engaged in intimidation, yes, violating the rules and challenging the administration to enforce their rules, which they do not, establishing the double standard that you articulated prior. Comments like, just allow me to briefly...
Hang on, let him briefly articulate some of the comments. Chance to respond. Yep.
Yeah. Just so some of this articulation of the free speech that they're talking about. Burn Tel Aviv to the ground. Go Hamas. We love you. We support your rockets too. And Qassam's next targets. This didn't happen in a vacuum. It has happened across the country in places where Jewish students are hounded away from their dining halls, where they're spirited in places like Cooper Union into attics and ushered out of the premises by police escort because they're terrified for their safety. And my friend Sahar Takar in Yale, who was jabbed in the eye with a Palestinian flag. This is not some inert protest movement. It is active, it is baiting, it is menacing, and it is challenging the administration to enforce their rules or demonstrate that they're the ones in charge. The administration can't negotiate with that.
Hussein,
that's completely at odds with what the chief of police of New York said about how they were extremely peaceful, offered no resistance, were saying what they wanted in a peaceful manner. Of course, they're extremists, and there have been some violent incidents. There have also been Palestinian students shot in Vermont, Palestinians stabbed in Chicago. There's been a lot of violence and intimidation on both sides. By the way,
well, but Hussein, wait, that's not relevant. Wait, hang on a second. But I got to follow up. You can't do a hit and run on that. You know that that's not connected, right? You can't. This happened in Vermont. I could sit here and tell you about every anti-Semitic attack that's happened around the country, and you would say, rightly, that's not related to this.
But those were university students near their campus who got shot for political reasons. I mean, look, it's not, if those had been Jewish students shot by a pro-Palestinian demonstrator, you wouldn't have any hesitation. And I would agree with you that it was part of that intimidation.
I spoke out against that shooting, to be quite clear. I did a segment on this show speaking out about that shooting.
I'm sure Noah is too. There's no doubt. I'm not accusing anyone of being for shooting anybody. That's ridiculous. But I want to point out the USC canceled the valedictory speech of its valedictorian, who is a critic of Israel, because of her views based on credible threats of violence. And so those threats were coming from the other side. This is a two-way street. There are a lot of crazy people on both sides who are pushing the boundaries here. If that wasn't true, there wouldn't be, those students, and there wouldn't be this cancellation.
But the pro-Israel people aren't setting up the camps, and they aren't the ones leading.
Not. You're right.
So it's not just, but the both sidesism doesn't quite work here, right?
Well, of course it does when USC cancels a valedictory speech because of a preemptive and presumptive heckler's veto. Look, there have been extremists on both sides here, people hurt and shot and harassed and intimidated on both sides. What universities are failing to do is create a dialogue. They should be living up to their educational mission and aggressively hosting people of goodwill, having conversations like this, and they're not doing that.
Yeah, and Noah, I guess my position would be I don't even know why they're negotiating with some of them. Maybe I'm more hardline. I think in some of these cases, they shouldn't even be treating them as sort of negotiating partners. But go ahead, Noah.
Well, to Hussein's point briefly, first of all, I don't know any conservative at a conservative media institution, myself, National Review, who has come out and said USC did the right thing in that situation. We've all expressed our frustration with the notion here that a heckler's veto should be enforced. Nevertheless, quantitatively, to compare the two is to be obtuse. We're experiencing a national outpouring on American campuses. One iteration of the other side trying to exercise a heckler's veto doesn't deny the idea that there's a vast majority of these infringements are on one side of this equation. Second, a lot of this is being dismissed as outside agitators. I think I heard you say that, Hussein, but others certainly have.
I did not say that at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well, I have heard others say it. And they maintain that the students are being, the students in particular in Columbia, that the students are being impugned by outside agitators from Manhattan coming in and tarnishing them with these slogans or what have you. Hang on. What needs to happen then, if that is true, is the administrations need to get control of their campuses, which they are not doing. Second, the impetus is now on you, who has associated yourself with a bad element that you don't think represents you fairly, to police your associations, and barring that, to disassociate. There will be reputational and professional consequences for associating yourself with terrorist groups that the State Department designates as foreign terrorist organizations implicated in the killing of Americans. That should haunt you.
I agree with you. It would be very wise for the student demonstrators to do a better job of articulating what they think and don't think, though they've started doing it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.